Hello there and welcome. My name is Steven. Thank you for clicking on this video. This video, we're going to show you how to build a manual debt repayment schedule in Excel. And so the idea here is going to be for those who have a budget plan, they kind of plan ahead. They want to stagger payments to pay off credit card debt. So this can definitely be for like a credit card, something with like a lower minimum payment, because for like a fixed rate loan, I think you really can't pay below the minimum quite often. They don't allow you to. So this is going to be really for more like revolving debt, like credit card debt. So we're going to jump right in here and start building this. So we just need a few components. So again, this is more for like credit card debt, just kind of a smaller amount you're paying off. So let's start with a smaller balance of $3,000. Let's just say you want to pay $3,000 off in the next 12 months, for example, just for this example. So outstanding is going to be $3,000. So let's say your interest rate is going to be, let's say APR. So let's say it's on a credit card. Let's say it's 30%. So now we need to know the monthly interest. So interest compounds monthly, it does not compound annually. So all we got to do is just take that 30%, the annual number, and divide it by 12. You're going to make 12 payments in a year. So now we'll say monthly interest. So format this. So that's going to be 2.5% per month is what's going to accrue on your outstanding balance. So now from that, we just need to know how long we're going to pay it off. And so in this example, we're just going to say it's a 12-month thing. Let's say you're budgeting for the next year, next 12 months. You want to pay this $3,000 off within the budget period. So we'll just say months to repay, do 12 months. So now we're going to use PMT just to calculate the minimum payment, but we're going to stagger our payments in the manual schedule. We're not going to use PMT. So we'll say the minimum payment, or well, let's say minimum payment required, basically required to pay this off in the time that we want. So you can use PMT. So the rate is your monthly rate. NPER is your number of months to repay. That's 12. And PV is going to be your outstanding balance. So we got to pay $292.42 or $292.46 for 12 months to pay this off in 12 months. So I actually like to flip the signs around here and make this a plus because PMT always makes it negative. I like to show a plus payment. So now we can build a manual schedule using this. So we need starting balance. In this case, it's going to be $3,000 to start out with. It is going to change. We're going to build a formula to subtract our principal off of this and recalculate every time. So now our payment amount, this is where we're going to actually put in our payments and stagger them. I'm going to highlight all of this. Actually, go over here and put months here. So month 1, month 2, we'll copy this down. Okay, so payment amount, so let's just put in there, let's say $292.46 for now. We are going to change this as we go along. So now from there, we got to know how much of this is going to go towards interest, and how much is going to go towards principal. So interest compounds every month. There's no getting around it. It's always going to be a fixed rate, and it's going to calculate on the outstanding balance. So whatever your starting balance is at the start of the month, that's what interest accrues off of. So in this case, it's going to be $3,000. So all we do is just take our interest, which is 2.5, or rather our monthly interest, which is 2.5, multiply that by our starting balance, and that's how much goes to interest. So of this $292.46, $75 immediately goes towards interest. You never get it back. So now principal is just going to be the difference. So if we pay $292.46, $75 goes to interest, $217.46 comes off of the starting balance or principal balance, the outstanding balance. So now we just calculate a simple change here, ending balance. So it's just going to be our starting balance minus the principal, because again, interest just goes to the lender. You never get it back. So that's our ending balance now. So now we can just take this and make it equal to our ending balance. That's our new starting balance in the new month, right? Ending becomes starting, or ending in one month becomes starting in the next. So we can mostly just copy these down. We are going to stagger these, so I'm not going to copy this down. We'll just copy these down though. This down, copy this down. Okay. So now what we can do is we can just build this out and say, okay, if our budget allows for X this month and X this month, how do we get to the end goal here of paying off this debt in 12 months? So let's say in month 2 now you're just going to pay the minimum again. So you pay the minimum twice. Okay. So now you're basically right on schedule to pay it off in 12 months. But let's say in month 3 now, you got to pay less than that. Let's say you can only afford to pay $100. Okay, so now officially you're falling behind because the minimum to pay this off in 12 months is $292.46. However, In month 4 now you get an extra paycheck. So you can put $800 towards this. So let's just see this. Now you've paid in total $1,500 and the minimum is $292.46. So in 4 months, you basically caught up now and you're actually overpaying now. So about $1,500 you've paid, and to pay the minimum it'd be $111.69.85. So now you're ahead. So you're going to watch this as it goes down. This ending balance is going to start getting closer and closer to zero. So now we can start to pay a little bit less since we're caught up a bit. So let's say next month we're going to pay the minimum again, $292.46. But again, maybe next month we can't pay much. We can only afford to pay, let's say, $150. Okay. So we're still on track. Now we paid 6 months worth. We paid $119.27.38 in 6 months. Now we got to pay $16.55 in the next 6 months. So let's say that in month 7 now we get, let's say, maybe another paycheck. Now we're going to pay $800 again to this. So now we just cut it in half. So now we've only got $750.23 left to pay in 5 months. So now we can start paying a lot less. Let's say we can only afford $150. That's fine. Now maybe $150 again. So now we got 3 months left to pay $423.12. So now we're actually trending below the minimum, right? The minimum was $292.46. So we got 3 months left to pay this off. We only got to pay off $423. So let's say now maybe in month 10 we're going to pay $100. That's actually not going to do it because we got $318. Well, let's split the difference down and say you're going to pay now $160 the last 2 months. Let's just say. Well, now you've overpaid. So now you've actually overpaid by $594. So let's just take off $594 here. Okay, so now we're at 0 though, right? So really, out of all these payments, we only paid the minimum 2 times, or three times. But we overpaid 2 big payments twice, $800 twice. Let's say that's like an extra payment or something. But you basically underpaid this, let's see, 7 out of 12 months based on what would fit in your budget, right? So this is what allows you to plan ahead. So you know, if this is the minimum, but you can still get away with not paying the minimum some months if you pay over in other months, right? When the budget allows to pay more, you pay over, and that gives you kind of the flexibility to pay less in some months. But in the end, we still arrived at the same goal, right? We paid this in 12 months, we're at 0, and we did it by only paying the minimum 3 times. So that's how this can work, but this has to work in accordance with like a budget plan though. You have to have a plan ahead of time and kind of know a little bit what your cash flow is and what you can afford within the budget. Now that's not always easy to do. Some people may use this in, let's say, maybe they're going to pay the minimum, but then maybe just plan ahead like 1 month. Say, okay, next month I'm going to pay an extra $100 or something. You can do that too. But either way, this is all going to be just in relation to your budget plan. This has to all fit within the plan. One thing you're going to notice here too is the interest drops off considerably. So the principal is kind of hard to read here because it's all staggered. But the interest, again, is fixed, right? It's just 2.5% every single month on the starting balance. So the way this works is, so that as you pay this off, the starting balance gets less and less, right? You can see this trending down every single month. And with it, the interest is nosediving as well, right? So from $75 in month 1 to $376 in the final month. So when you paid $154.06, $150 of that went straight off the principal. Whereas in month 1, you paid $292, but only $217 went to principal. So it's a huge difference. And that's where I talk about this in my videos quite a bit, where interest is everything. The longer you pay this off, interest doesn't stop accruing. It just keeps accruing. So for people that lend money for a living, they want you to pay this off forever. They want you to have this debt for eternity because they're going to keep collecting the interest every single time because interest never stops accruing. So we're going to conclude the video there, guys. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Check out my other videos. Throw me a comment down below. Questions, comments, feedback. I appreciate all of it. So this might not be too helpful to people, just unless you have kind of a budget to work with. This is just kind of one piece of the puzzle. A lot of my videos kind of work together, just kind of piece by piece, but all kind of builds together into one kind of financial management tool. This is definitely more for people who have a budget in place already, who can kind of plan ahead, kind of look, be more future looking and maybe kind of manage their cash a little bit. So hopefully this works for you. Hopefully you got something out of that. I appreciate it, and thank you very much.